Good morning, boys and girls.
Good morning, Mrs. Stewart.
Good morning, boys and girls. Good morning, boys and girls. I'm so glad you came to school. Good morning, boys and girls. Good morning, Mrs. Stewart.
Good morning, Mrs. Stewart. I'm so glad you came to school. Good morning, Mrs. Stewart.
Let's make sure we're all standing, turn and face our friends. Say good morning.
Good morning.
Let's put a big smile on our face and sing to them. Good morning to our friends. Good morning to our friends. I'm so glad you came to school. Good morning to our friends. Great job. You may be seated. This morning, I want to talk to you about something very special, something that we need to work on. Let's look at this picture right here. Do you see these two boys? These two boys' names are Samuel and John. Now, do they look like they're having a good time?
No.
No, they do not. They look like they're not obeying. They look like they're not being very kind to each other. What are they doing, Connor?
Pulling the bear.
Yes, they are pulling on each other, and they are pulling on that bear. They are doing something called being selfish. Say that word with me.
Selfish.
Selfish. Does this happen sometimes at your house? Oh, you want to play with something and maybe your brother or your sister wants to play with something and then you argue about it and then you start pulling on it. And sometimes maybe it even has broken because you have been pulling on it and playing tug of war with it. And that means you're pulling it back and forth and back and forth. And that's what they're doing. They are fighting over this teddy bear. That poor teddy bear, if they keep doing it for much longer, they could break it and pull those arms out of that teddy bear. So they are being selfish because neither one of them want to share. So if you're not sharing, it's called being selfish. What is it being?
Selfish.
Selfish. But let's look at this picture right here. Look at these two girls. Look at their faces. Do you think they're being selfish?
Yes.
No, they're not being selfish. They have smiles on their faces, and they look like they're taking turns. They're taking turns. That's what those two boys should have been doing. They should have been taking turns instead of fighting over that teddy bear. So they're being unselfish. Say that word with me. Unselfish. When you take your turn, maybe you want to drink really bad, but you let your friend take a drink first. That's being unselfish. When you let somebody else play with something, even though you wanted to play with it, that's being unselfish. Maybe you're playing with stuffed animals and you have a whole lot of stuffed animals and you really want to play with a whole bucket full. But you share and you take your turn. And maybe you've been playing with it for a really long time, or puzzles, and you've been playing with it for a really long time and somebody says, I want to play with that. Then you could say, okay. And you can share your things that way. That's being unselfish because you're sharing something that you really want, but you're letting somebody else play with it. Well, I want to tell you something about Amber. Amber is going to go play with Katie Kitten. Katie Kitten comes over and she wants her to play. So she knocks on the door and she asks Mrs. Lamb, can Katie Kitten come out to play? And Katie is so excited. So Katie and Amber get to go to Katie's house. Oh, have you ever gotten to go to a friend's house before? Boys and girls watching, have you ever gone to a friend's house to play? Well, they go to Katie Kitten's house, and Katie got a brand new bicycle for her birthday. Isn't that exciting when you get something brand new? It's all yours. It's your present. Well, she wanted to show Amber her brand new bicycle. So she showed her bicycle, and it had a bell, and when you hit the bell, it went ding, ding, and you could hit it again, it goes ding, ding, and while you're riding the bike down the street, you can make the noise, and it had pretty things hanging off of it, and it was so bright and shiny. And Amber said, can I ride it too? And Katie said, no, it's my brand new bike. I just wanted to show it to you. And then she said, and look at my brand new fire truck. I got a brand new fire truck and it makes lots of noise. And when she pushed the button, it went woo, 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 and lights went off. And it was so bright and shiny too. And she said, can I play with your truck? And Katie said, no, it's my brand new toy. Was Katie being unselfish or selfish?
Selfish.
She was being very selfish because she was not sharing, was she? Now, that was her brand new things. Those were hers. She got it for her birthday. But she wanted Amber to come play at her house. And then she wouldn't even let her play with the toys. And how do you think that made Amber feel?
Sad.
It did. It made Amber feel. Doesn't it make you feel sad when you want to play with something and somebody won't share with you? It is. It's sad. Well, guess what? Amber went home, and when she came in the house, Mrs. Lamb said, "What's the matter? I thought you were playing at Katie's house." And she said, "It's not any fun playing at Katie's house. She won't let me play with any of her new toys. And she got a new bike, and she won't let me ride it. And she got a new truck, and I can't even play with that either. I can't even push the button and make it go woo, woo, or anything." And oh, Mrs. Lamb said, it's sad because Jesus wants us to share. Jesus wants us to be kind. He gives us those wonderful things. We've prayed and thanked God for our toys, and then we're not even going to share them? Oh, that's so sad. God wants us to be kind one to another, and He wants us to share. But next thing they knew, they heard a knock on the door. Who do you think it might have been?
Katie Kitten.
It was Katie Kitten, and she came and she said, "I'm sorry, it is no fun playing all by myself. Will you come over and play and ride my new bike?" And they shared and played all afternoon. Katie shared her new bike with Amber. Look, there's the horn and the bell, and there's that bright, shiny new bicycle. And so Katie played with her truck, and Amber got to ride the bicycle, and they were so happy because now Katie was not being selfish anymore. She was sharing. And that's what God wants us to do. When we have things, maybe we're playing here in the classroom, or boys and girls, are you watching there? Maybe you're playing with things there, or playing with puzzles, or just maybe you're going somewhere special with a whole bunch of people. And you don't have to be first in line. You can let somebody else be first. That would be being unselfish because you're sharing, you're letting somebody else be first to do something, and you're being kind. And that's what God wants us to do. I'm glad that Katie learned her lesson, that it wasn't any fun not to share. And I hope that you're going to share today, that you're going to be kind when it's time to line up, that you're not going to try to run and be first, that maybe when we're on the playground, or boys and girls watching, when you're on a playground today maybe, that you're going to share going down the slide first, or getting on a swing, letting somebody else have a turn. That would be being very unselfish. You would be very kind and share the things that God gave us. Isn't that nice? I'm glad that Katie shared her bicycle and her train, or her fire truck. What's something that you could share at your house with your brother or sister, Angelina?
Bike.
You have a bicycle. You could share that. Jonathan, what could you share? You have a sister. What could you share with her?
My toy.
Oh, he could share that. Kyla, what could you share? You have brothers and sisters at your house. What could you share?
My bike.
You have a bike too. What's something else besides a bike that we could do that would be kind and not being selfish? Carter.
Sharing a fire truck.
Oh, yeah, sharing a fire truck or other toys. Maybe you have blocks that you like to play with. You could share those things too. So let's try today to be not selfish today, to be kind one to another.